Welcome to today's lecture. That is the third lecture on Unit 2 that about wool. The title is Structure and Quality of Wool. In the previous lecture, mainly I have discussed about the basic structure, development and growth of wool follicle. So wool follicle is the origin of the fibers. I have mentioned different kind of fibers comes out from two different kind of follicles, that is primary and secondary follicles. So today we will see little bit more details about these three kind of fibers and their comparison, and we will see the morphological structure of the fibers and their differences in different kind of fibers, and we will also see little bit more details about the microstructure and little bit of chemical structure also, and then we will learn about the important quality parameters of wool fiber like fiber diameter, crimpiness, length of fiber, luster, modulation, like that. As I have mentioned earlier, the primary and secondary follicles produces 3 or 4 types of fibers, that is fine fiber, which is wool, then hairy fiber, then heterotype, that is a mixed type, and the chem fiber. So the outer covering of sheep is having this long, coarse, modulated and brittle hairy fiber, and the inner one of fine, short and wavy, that is the actual wool. So the wool fibers are more fine and have no medulla, whereas the hairy fibers are of intermediate thickness and of little bit of medulla sometime. And then there is a mix of heterotype fiber which is of intermediate of wool and hair, and the fourth one is the kemp fiber, which are more coarse with a long tapering tip. Generally they will be short with a heavy medulla, and they will have a opaque chalky appearance. So we are going to see a comparison of mainly the three type of fibers in the next. Here we will see a typical comparison of mainly the three types of fibers, that is the true wool, kemp and hair. So true wool generally produced by secondary follicles, whereas the kemp is a coarse fiber of outer coat grown by early secondary follicles and sometimes by central primary follicles. Whereas the hair is an intermediate of these two, that is the intermediate between true wool and the kemp, and they grow mainly from the primary follicles. Then about the modulation, the true wool is totally non-modulated, whereas kemp is highly modulated, wide medulla making it brittle. And in case of hair, medulla will be there but little bit less, and it may be flat and latticed but not so much or wide like kemp. Then the wool is rarely shed naturally, whereas the kemp is shed naturally, and here it is less frequently shedded naturally. In case of wool, there will be a throughout irregular mosaic scale pattern. In case of kemp, scale pattern throughout it is regular mosaic, whereas in case of true wool it is irregular mosaic. In case of kemp it is a regular mosaic, and in case of hair also it is a regular mosaic. Then in case of true wool, fibers mostly circular or slightly elliptical, that is about the diameter or cross section, mostly circular or slightly elliptical, whereas in case of kemp it is often flattened as ribbon like. In case of hair, either circular or elliptical in cross section, it is an intermediate. In case of true wool, there is some heterotype fiber persistently growing, so they keep on growing continuously. Whereas in case of cane, they are short growth period of a few months. They continuously don't grow. After some time, they will stop growing. Whereas in case of hair, they are continuously growing fiber of outer coat. In case of true wool, small in diameter and medium in length. So diameter is less and length is also less. In cane fiber, it's a coarsest fiber, usually short in length, and in hair it is typically long and straight with large diameter. Generally, the thumb rule is more the diameter, more is the length. Then finally, there is a complete keratinization in case of true wool, whereas in case of cane there is a partial keratinization, and in hair there is a complete keratinization. So this is a comparison of three type of wools. Here we can see the comparative picture of different kind of fibers under electron microscope, both the natural fibers, that is from animal origin, and also from other plant origin, and also the synthetic fibers. So we can see the synthetic fiber, natural fiber from animal origin, natural fiber from other origin. So you can see the structure, the first one, the coarse wool, and it is a comparative diameter also we can see, and the outer appearance also we can see. Coarse wool, then fine wool, then the wool from alpaca, that is a fiber, then Kashmiri, that is the pashmina from pashmina goat, then silk. So you can see its appearance, structure, and it is very fine. Then linen. So these two are synthetic fiber. It is chemically produced, or we say man-made fibers. Then cotton. This is coming from the cotton plants. And there is another one, polyester. Again, this is purely chemical fiber. Now we will discuss about the structure of wool. As I told earlier, wool is an animal fiber forming the protective covering of the sheep. It is basically for protecting the animal from the heat and cold. It's a natural covering. It consists mainly of the insoluble protein keratin. So keratin is a very special kind of protein. It undergoes some kind of modification, and it has a very special properties which we will learn later. The wool fiber is an organized structure growing from the root situated in the dermis. That is the follicle we have discussed earlier, primary and secondary follicle. Basically they are at the second layer of the skin, that is the dermis. The matured keratinized fiber extruding above the skin is however a dead tissue, though it is growing from the dermis layer below the skin, but once it coming out from the skin, this is actually a dead tissue. So here in the picture you can see the structure of a fiber. Basically it has got three components, that is the cuticle, cortex and medulla, which we are going to learn more details in the next. The morphological structure of wool and fiber. The animal fiber consists of three morphological components, as I already told, that is the cuticle, cortex and medulla. The outermost is the cuticle, and at the middle the main component is the cortex, and the third one, medulla, is absent in true wool, but it is present in other fiber. So we will talk more details later. Now first we will discuss about the cuticle, which is the outer protective layer. It has got important function for the biological purpose or as a protective role for the actual fiber. This is composed of flat plate-like scales which are arranged in overlapping fashion like the scales of fish towards the tip. So in the bottom right picture you can see the different kind of wools and their outer appearance under the magnified microscopic view. So it looks almost like a outer surface of the palm tree. So basically they are the scales attached, and little bit variation will be there in their pattern, and that will be pointing towards the tip of the fiber. The general pattern of arrangement of scales is common to all animal fibers. That is, the different kind of fibers, the arrangement of these scales will be almost similar. The cuticle is composed of again three different layers, that is the epicuticle, exocuticle and endocuticle. So this is a little more details about the microstructure of wool, which I will show you with some diagram little later. And in the left side bottom picture you can see the three kind of here we can see only two, because it is a microstructure of the pure wool. So outside we can see the cuticle cells at the border, that's a minor component, and the major component is the cortical cells, that is the diamond shape like cortical cells, but they are held together by a intermediate structure, that is the cell membrane complex. Cuticle, as I mentioned, this is the outermost structure of a wool fiber, and this makes about 10% of the total fiber mass, you can say. In the picture you can see the highly magnified electron microscopic structure of the outer surface, that is the cuticle scales, as it is arranged in different kind of fibers. This cuticle envelops the wool fiber and serves primarily to anchor the fiber to the skin of animal, and it has a protective role also. The secondary function of cuticular cells is frictional effect, which helps to expel the foreign particles. So basically it has a protective role for the inner fiber. In textiles, cuticle is responsible for surface properties of a fiber and also constitutes a barrier through which chemical reagents must pass before reaching the cortex. So from the fiber we are going to make textile and for other clothing. In that case, for the weaving and spinning and for dyeing, it has an important role. Scale pattern of cuticle. As I mentioned earlier, the cuticle has got scales like in case of fish, and the tip of the scales will be towards the tip of the fiber, but the arrangement of these scales varies with different kind of fibers. So there are generally three kind of arrangements. They are coronal pattern, coronal reticulate pattern, and another is only reticulate pattern. So in case of coronal pattern, each scale forms a complete ring around the fiber. Here the top of one scale overlapping the bottom of the next scale like a column of flower pots set into one another. And the example is the fine fibers of the merino wools. The second pattern, that is the coronal reticulate. Here the scale edges again form a band around the fiber, but each band contains more than one scale, so that lateral as well as axial overlap occurs. So in earlier case there is a overlapping only at the one over the other, but here laterally also there is a overlapping, and the example is in case of coarse merinos. And the third type of cuticle pattern, scale pattern, is reticulate. Here the scales form an irregular network over the surface of fiber, and the examples are the coarse fibers. All kind of coarse fibers will have reticulate pattern. So under microscope, if we see the scale pattern, we can identify the what kind of fiber it is or what is the origin of such fibers. Now you will understand the inner structure of the wool fiber, that is called cortex. It is made up of cortical cells. So inside the cuticle, the cortex build up of elongated cells lying parallel to the fiber axis. The cells are about 100 microns long and 2 to 4 microns wide, as you can see in the picture. In fine wool fibers, the cortex consists of two distinct components which differ in dye accessibility and alkali swelling. So there is a difference between the fine wool fiber and the coarse wool fiber in their structure of the cortex. Accordingly, their dye acceptability or alkali swelling varies. They are wound around each other in phase with the fiber cream. So these cortex has an important role in the fiber behavior. So if it is fine, then the cortical structure is different and they will have a waviness. If they are coarse, then this cortical cells arrangement is different and there will be no waviness, which is called crimpiness or crimp. So there will be a bilateral arrangement of the two kind of cells, that is called ortho cells and para cells. So this bilateral form of cortex differentiation has been observed only in crimped fibers, whereas in case of crimpless fibers, they are present in a concentric arrangement. So two kind of cells, ortho and para, they are arranged in bilateral in case of fine wool, and that gives the crimpiness or waviness, whereas in case of coarse wool, they are in concentric arrangement and then there is not much waviness or crimpiness. So this bilateral arrangement of ortho and paracortical cells in fine wool, the related proportion and arrangement of cell type differ according to the fiber diameter. So in continuation to cortex, the orthocortex is always oriented towards the outside radius of the crimp. This occurs as a result of the two segments rotating around the fiber in phase with the crimp. Actually, these two kind of cells, they have got disproportionate growth, and since the outer one grows faster than the inner one, so automatically that compels the fiber to bend and make the waviness or crimpiness. The difference in cortical structure originates in the follicle and indicated that bilateral structure is present before the fiber is keratinized. That is, it is a genetically coordinated characteristics coming from the follicle. The cortical structure of wool from rambulate sheep is bilateral, that is ortho and para. That is a fine wool breed, so naturally the arrangement of these two cells will be bilateral. Whereas in case of kid mohair, that is the goat, chiefly orthocortex is more important. In human hair also paracortex is important. Now we will discuss about the third structure, that is medulla. As I have already mentioned, in case of true wool or in fine wool, there will be only two structure outside the cuticle of scale, and the major is the inside, that is cortex, that is made up of protein like keratin. But in case of coarse wool or when the diameter is more, then there comes a third structure, that is the medulla. So this is a network of air-filled cell walls, or in some cases hollow tube, as you can see in the picture. So heavy medullation increases the reflection of light, results in white chalky appearance. If the medullation, the hollow structure is too much, then it gives a chalky appearance, and under microscope medulla appears black but becomes transparent when filled by mounting medium. Medullation is increased with the increase in fiber diameter. So the medullation starts only for the coarse fiber and beyond 30 microns diameter. So when the diameter is more, the medullation will be more. Sometimes the medulla may be unbroken, that is a continuous, and sometimes it is broken, that is interrupted, and then it looks like somewhat like ladder, which is found in more coarse fiber or in rabbit fiber. Here in this picture we can see the different kind of fibers with different kind of medulla or width of the medulla. You can see the A, B, C, D and E. In case of A, the medulla is unbroken and it is very wide. In case of B, it is again unbroken and dark, but the width is less. In case of C, it is again simple unbroken, but it is being filled with mounting medium, so the look is transparent. In case of D, there is some interruption, and it is the thickness of medulla is less because the fiber diameter is less here. And in the last one, E, we can see it is fragmented. So these are the different kind of picture we can see under microscope for different kind of fibers about the presence of medulla. But if the fiber diameter is below 30, it will be mostly absent, 30 micron I mean. Here we will see little more details about the structure in wool fiber, that is the microstructure, little more details inside. From the bottom, if you see, the blue color portion is the cortex and outside white scale like, that is the cuticle. Now in the cuticle itself, if we see further details and magnification like histology, we can see three layers. There is endocuticle at the innermost, then at the center there is exocuticle, and at the outside there is epicuticle. Then the blue portion, that is the cortex, which is the major part of the fiber. As I mentioned earlier, there are two kind of cells, that is the orthocortex and paracortex, and in between we can see the nuclear remnants. Because they are cells, they will have the nucleus. Now if we see further about the cortex, they are made up of cortical cells. Again, they have further minute structure inside, that is macrofibril. So in the cortical cell, which is making the cortex, there we can see macrofibril, and then further down inside we can see microfibril, and after that further finer structure is the protofibril, and further inside we will see the actual molecule, that is the keratin molecule, that is the keratin protein. Actually it is a special kind of protein, so sometimes we say keratinized. It is having very high amount of sulfur containing amino acids, especially cysteine and dicysteine, that is called cysteine. So once again I will say, it starts with the keratin molecule, and several such molecules makes the protofibril, several such fibrils makes the microfibril, and several such microfibril makes the macrofibril, and from there comes the cortical cell, and many such cells form the cortex. So here once again we can see the microstructure in minute details about the wool fiber microstructure, and here we are also going to see the diameter at different stages. So at the beginning, as we have seen earlier, there is outside cuticle, that is the leading to the root, and then we can see the cortical cells, that is orthocortical. Sometimes there is a mesocortical cells, from which the paracortical cells we can see with the cell membrane. Now if we see the diameter as a whole fiber, it is 20,000 nanometer or 20 micron. This is in case of fine wool. Then at the next stage we can see the diameter is 2000 nanometer or 2 micron, and then from there we see the macrofibril, which is 200 nanometer. From there further we get the microfibril, that is 7 nanometer, and from there comes the another helical structure which we call protofibril, and that is only 2 nanometer, and finally comes the actual protein molecule, that is the keratin, that is 1 nanometer. So from 20,000 nanometer it is going to 1 nanometer. Here now little bit we will understand the chemistry of the wool fiber or the chemical structure of wool. Wool is chemically a protein called keratin with about 1% or more of fatty substances like different kind of fats, sterols or lipids. But major is the protein, that is the keratin, and which is a special kind of protein I have already mentioned. And these kind of keratin protein are very rich in sulfur. No other protein will have this much of sulfur, and it is mainly due to the higher amount of sulfur containing amino acids, especially cysteine. Cysteine is a conjugation of two sulfur containing amino acid, cysteine. So the sulfur content of wool varies with the nutrition. So this animal needs a special nutrition which will supply the more amount of sulfur containing amino acid for this purpose. Wool molecule comprised of 18 amino acids out of 20 amino acids present in living matter. So normally in all animal in general there are 20 primary amino acids, of which 18 are most commonly present in wool fiber. Then keratin molecules have long chains which lie parallel to the long axis of fiber. As we have seen in the section, cross section at microscopic picture, these are basically the peptide chains, keratin, and this molecule of protein is lying in parallel to the long axis of the fiber. Now these molecules are linked by three kind of bonds. Why it is so strong is due to the strong bond of three kinds. One is disulfide bonds. Due to sulfur containing amino acids in more amount, so these between two sulfur there is always a bond is formed, sometimes called disulfide bridge. And then there is normal peptide bond which is between the carboxyl group and the amino group between the amino acids. And then thirdly there is a hydrogen bonding that happens due to the presence of hydroxyl group and the carboxyl group. So these bonds gives a special strength to the wool fiber. Now we will discuss about the quality of wool. So far I was discussing about the morphology or macrostructure and then microstructure about the wool fiber. Now some of the important basic quality parameters which has got most influence about the utility of the wool as in the textile. Of course later on some more parameters or some more properties we will discuss in a separate lecture. That is a separate topic about the properties of wool, that is physical properties or chemical properties, like that. All the details we will discuss separately in a lecture, but here we are going to discuss only some of the utility aspect, some of the important quality aspect of wool fiber, of which most important is the fiber diameter. So in the picture you can see in the same sheep the fiber diameter or quality of the wool varies. So if we see from the neck towards the back, the wool is becoming more coarse. Similarly from top towards the bottom, wool is more coarse, or it will be length will be short. Similarly at the back portion, that area also the wool will be more, back and lower portion will be more hairy. At the top of the head, this portion also will be short and dirty. So as I mentioned about the quality aspect of wool, one of the most important quality for utility purpose is the fiber diameter. So fiber diameter plays a very important role for the utility of wool, and so in grading or in quality evaluation fiber diameter is very important. So it largely determines the quality or grade of wool fiber. Sheep's wool diameter range between 16 to 17 micron in case of finest merino, and sometime it will go even beyond 40 micron in case of coarse wool breeds. The main fiber diameter of wool is its single most important quality from the technological point of view. As I mentioned, The wool will be used in textile and for which the diameter is one of the major quality aspect. The range of fiber diameter of the merino type will be between 16 to 24 micron, while this range varies from 22 to 60 micron in case of Indian wools. So in the first lecture I have mentioned in India almost 85% wool is coarse type and the diameter will be beyond 35 micron. Only very few breeds are producing fine wool and they may be around 20 to 22 micron in case of Indian breeds. In the picture here in the top you can see the diameter. It is showing in the right side 17 micron, that is the fine wool, then crossbreed, then medium, and then the coarse wool where it is 40 and above. In the bottom picture we can see the comparative diameter in case of human hair 45 to 55 micron, Swiss wool 23 to 35 micron, merino 14 to 22 micron, alpaca, that is from the animal hair, this is 17 to 35 micron, and Kashmiri, that is also called Pashmina, from the Pashmina goat, and it is about 15 to 19 micron. So now we will see one more quality parameter, that is fiber contour. So contour means in this case the cross section area of the fiber. It is related to the diameter. So the shape of the wool fiber will be mostly circular, but sometimes it will be oval. So this variation is called ellipticity and perfection of shape. So the departure from circularity and towards the oval, it is called contour ratio. So this is the ratio of the major axis over the minor axis of the section. So if these two axes are equal, then it is a circular and the ratio is 1. Whenever there is a deviation, so this ratio will increase. So more the ratio, more is the deviation from circularity, or we can call it ellipticity. So the contour ratio is remarkably constant over the whole range of wools and it is about 1.22. But that of finer qualities may be little less. In case of fine wool, this ratio will be little more less. The shape of the cross section influences the stiffness, handle of fabric, reflection of light, spinning behavior, and other properties of fiber, yarn, and fabric. So this has got direct relation with the quality of the product prepared from such fiber. Now we are going to see a very important quality parameter, that is crimp or crimpiness. So this means the waviness of the wools. The best quality fine wool will have tremendous waviness and that's the most desirable quality. So wool fibers grow more or less in a wavy form and with a certain amount of twist, and it gives bulkiness and warmth to the wool. Crimp in the wool is a result of the morphological arrangement of ortho and paracortical cells in the wool fiber. Fine wool fiber consists of distinct bilateral arrangement of ortho and paracortex. And the paracortex grows at a different rate than ortho, resulting in differential linear expansion and formation of crimp. So this we have discussed while studying the structure of wool fiber. In the cortex, two kinds of cells are there, ortho and para. In case of fine wool, these two cells are arranged in a bilateral manner, and this paracortex, which is more at the outer side, grows faster, whereas the other one grows little slow. So that leads to the crimp formation. Crimpiness is measured using crimpometer and expressed in terms of crimp per inch or centimeters. In continuation of crimpiness or crimp, in case of fine merino wool fibers, the crimp may be 20 to 30 per inch. In coarse wool, ortho and paracortex cell is arranged in a concentric manner. That is, one is at the center and one is at the outer periphery. So the outer one, though it is growing fast, it is getting more space, so it is not forcing the inner one to twist and formation of crimp. So there is low crimp formation and it could be less than 2 crimps per centimeter. But this crimp has got a lot of influence as a fiber and for the textile. So this crimp influences the spinnability of the yarn and quality of the product. Crimp gives cohesiveness between fibers and improve the spinnability by imparting more twist in the fiber assembly. So because of this crimpiness, it helps in improving the weaving and making the product by cohesive binding between the fibers. Crimp plays an important role in yarn extensibility. So how much we can stretch and how much we can compress. So compressibility and also the fabric quality. Now we will see about one more important quality parameter, that is the fiber length. So generally it will be done by 2AF, fiber length and staple length. So staple length means the length with the waviness, and the fiber length means it will be a little bit stretched and made straight and then it is measured. So the fiber length will be always little more than the staple length. So the staple length mainly depends on genetics and also on the environment and nutrition, because it is a breed characteristics which is governed by the genetics of the particular animal. So accordingly the fiber length will be decided. Length largely determines the suitability of a wool for a given processing system and type of product. So this we are going to learn later when we will discuss about the processing of wool. There are two kind of processing separately for the long wool and the short wool, and they are called Oersted system and the woolen system. So the length decides which system it will go and what kind of product will be prepared. As a thumb rule, more the diameter, more is the length. So if the fiber diameter is more, then such fibers will be more lengthy. That means if the wool is very fine, the length also will be less. Climatic and economic considerations restrict the extent to which the staple length can be controlled by the selection of shearing time. So simply by changing the shearing time, we can have some economic considerations based on the climate about the length of the fiber. In the both picture right side, you can see in the top the fine and coarse. So in case of fine, the first one the length is less, and the last one it is maximum coarse and length is more. Same way it is indicated in the bottom picture also. The bottommost one is a fine which is short, and the top one is a coarse but it is long. So here is one more parameter about the quality, that is the lustre. So this indicates about the reflection of light, and in other words the shining, how it shines, that's the lustre. So this shining or lustre differs in the amount and character between the wools. So this property is dependent both on the structure of the fiber, the size of the fiber, and the straightness of the fiber. So structure is very important, how it reflects the light. Accordingly we feel the shine or the lustre. Lustre is not easily perceptible in single hairs, but only in locks, yarns and fabrics. So if we want to feel the lustre, it should be in a group, it should be in a bunch together, then only we can feel it, or when the yarn is made or when the fabric is made, then only we can feel the lustre. Different types of lustre described are generally like silver like lustre or silky or glassy. This kind of lusters are expressed. In the photograph it is showing different kind of fibers, but we cannot see the reflection in this case. So one more quality parameter, that is the medullation, which I have earlier discussed. The medulla, that is the presence of medulla in case of coarse wool. When it is coarse, it will have a hollow structure and that will be seen as dark under microscope. So the area of medullation can be measured and that is called medullation. So this medullation is expressed in percentage. The modulated fibers are divided as hetero when the modulation is 5 to 50% in terms of area, and if it is 50 to 75% then it is hairy, and when it is more than 75% then it is kempy. So earlier I have shown some cross section. In case of kemp, the major portion is dark and modulated. Now modulated fibers are examined with the help of projectile microscope during measurement of fiber diameter where they appear dark. So in the right side picture you can see in the top there is a white portion, in the bottom there is a dark portion. So this portion we can measure. After projecting the fiber we can measure it and calculate the percentage, that is called modulation percent. Most of the wool produced in India are coarse and highly modulated. So as I said earlier, about 80 to 85% of the wool produced in India are coarse type. The fiber diameter will be beyond 30-35 micron, and more the diameter, more will be the medulla. So modulation percent will be more. The increasing modulation lowers the carding yield, spinning efficiency, dyeing and handle. So due to the presence of medulla, it is a less useful or less valuable or less suitable for making the garments or textiles. So it will reduce these qualities, including the handle, means feeling of the product. In apparel use, it is generally not desirable to have modulated fibers. So as I mentioned, apparel means making the clothes or garments. So in such cases, if the medulla is more, such fibers cannot be used. So now we are at the end of today's lecture. At the beginning I have told about the morphology, different kind of fibers and their comparison and their morphology, then their microstructure, and then I have discussed some of the important quality parameters which is most important for grading of wool or which plays important role for processing and weaving of wool. In this picture you can see it is highlighting the structural details, microstructure of the wool fiber at the center, and at the periphery we can see the different properties, like it is having warmth, it is having breathability, color, fire resistant, then there is elasticity, anti-wrinkle, anti-static, durability, water repellent, so many properties. So these are the special properties which we are going to discuss in a separate lecture, that is the physical and chemical properties of wool. So hope this lecture is useful and easy to understand. Further details you can read from the lecture notes. Thank you.